Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me here today, and thanks for remembering that it was an hour later. I suppose that's better than being an hour earlier, isn't it? So it's lovely to see all of you with your weather reports. It's looking much better today, isn't it? So hi to Stella, Ginny, Jill, Ethel, Margaret, Marjorie, Barbara, Shirley, Pat, Sheila, Alison, Jane, Karen, loads of you. It's lovely. Ethel as well. So what am I going to make with this little lot? Well, I thought that seeing as it's coming up to Valentine's, we ought to have a go at a bit of a Valentine's card, but with a sort of like a more of a masculine theme. We know that it's all hearts and all loving and all that sort of thing, but I thought that we would have a little go with something very basic, really, as a Valentine's theme. So just thinking, hold on a second, just thinking, yeah, just remembered that I needed a punch and I hadn't got it out. So here we go. So I'm going to be using some of, well, things that you might already have in your stash, actually. So I've gone for, first of all, the Presscut nesting diamonds. So not a heart in sight just at the moment. So I've gone for these, which come as a set of, on the floor. Oh, golly. There we are. A set of nesting diamonds. So you've got the stitch dot, which I've chosen one of those, and then I've chosen the corresponding plain diamonds. So that is this size. And the card size I'm going to be making is an A5, so it's a largish size. So I'm going to use both of those. I've also got a Sweet Poppy stamp set, which is called Family. But the sentiment that I want to use on that one is Love You to the Moon and Back. So that's the sentiment I'm going to be using. I've got myself a scrap of paper, which again, it has got that sort of red colour, but it hasn't got any hearts in it really, or I don't think it has anyway. More a florally sort of thing. And then I've got myself some coconut white cards, so it's slightly off-white cards, so that's not too in your face. And then I've got a piece of burgundy card. So, and I've got my card base, which I've used again, coconut white, and folded it in half. Just wanted to show you the difference, and whilst I've chosen that. So this, might not be able to see it quite so well as I can, but this is the bright white card. So this is a normal card base, and I think that if I put my white card on there, again, it might not show, but in real life, it doesn't look quite so good as if you take it to a slightly off-white colour, which is, but again, you probably, I don't think you can see the difference, but I can, so believe me. So I'm not going to use that card base there, okay? So let's do some cutting and then it will all become apparent. So first of all, I have folded my card blanks. So I've taken an A4 piece of card and I've folded it in half. And so we've left with a measurement now of 21 centimetres by 14.8. So I know it's a little bit odd, but that's what it is, 14.8. So I need to cut some more card. So I need to cut some from here, and I'm going to take that 0.5 centimetre down all the way. So that will give me a measurement of 20.5 centimetres by 14.3. So as I said, a little bit of an odd measurement, but she knows what she's doing. So let's go for the 14.3. So just take my card edge to 14.3 and measure along there. And then this one to 20.5. And I will just check that that is enough, because sometimes I prefer a wider border than others. So let's just see. No, I think that will work nicely. So it gives me just a little bit of a border all the way around. And I'm going to be needing this in a minute, so I'm not going to take that too far away. Whilst I've got this out, I'm going to take another piece of coconut white card, and I'm going to take this one to 13.8, so half a centimetre less all the way round, and then 20 centimetres along. So not a lot of waste at all there. And again, just pop that in and check that that measurement fits in there nicely, which it does. So again, you've got that little white border, a little red border, I should say, down there like that. And that's going to be my card base. Okay, so I don't need to do any more cutting. I don't think at all, but maybe. So now I'm going to take my red piece. Now my red piece, I'm going to use that and cut out one of my diamonds, and I'm using the stitch dot one here. So I'm going to pop that on with a bit of tape. Oh, left the tape in the wrong place. And I'm going to run that through my machine. So just run that through. And then I'm going to take this piece, don't let it fall on the floor, and I'm going to cut my plain diamond from that. So that was my stitch dot. So you can see then, oh, show you the right way, that I've ended up with a very pretty, can you see that edge? Very pretty stitch dot edge. And again, I'm going to need that bit in a second. And then I'm going to take my plain piece. Now I am going to try, if I can, to take this piece of paper, and because it is quite a symmetrical, it just happens to be a symmetrical pattern, when I put it on here, I just want to try and see if I can actually get that bit of symmetry, because I will be cutting this die in half, the die shape in half. So if I can, I just wanted to marry that up so that that is more or less, hold on, more or less halfway. That's only because of the pattern I've chosen, really. Normally you could do it kind of any way you like. So just going to chop that along. There we go. Keep throwing it on the floor. So again, quite a good use if you've got some old papers that you haven't been using. Quite a nice one. So that's my other diamond, which obviously fits inside that diamond like that. But that's not quite what we want to do with it. What we want to do with it is we want to then cut that in half. So I'm going to use my guillotine to cut that in half. And I want to cut it in half along the sort of fat edge. So I'm going to make sure that I've got my cutting edge of my guillotine with the point to it on one end and then the other point that end, so that we can hopefully just slide that in. Now I've got two triangles, and then I'm going to do the same with the red piece with the stitch dot. Just putting the two points of it along the cutting edge, and I've now got two diamonds, two triangles. So in order to fit those in, I want to then pop them onto there like that. So I'm going to pop that into there. Oh, okay. So a little bit of glue. Oh, I didn't open this one earlier. So let's see if I did go. Oh, wow. Oh, hold on a minute. I haven't picked this one up for about 3 weeks. So it doesn't want to get going. It should be better. Yeah. It decided it didn't want to give up any of its glue. So a little bit of glue just on there. Now I'm actually going to, I could have given it a border all the way round, but I don't want to. I want my top piece to be flush with the edge there. So I could have gone like that. Yeah, so that's got a border all the way around, but I actually wanted to do it so it's got flush with the top there. Oh, glue didn't want to come out at all, and now it all wants to come out. So I'm just going to pop that bit into position as well, and I'm going to pop that so that is again right on the edge, and keep it as much in the center as I can. Just allow that a bit of time to grab. And then I'm going to take my card front. So this was the piece that we cut out to go onto the red piece there. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to just simply pop that top and bottom. Now, what I want to do is put that on the edge. So let me show you what I'm aiming for. So if I pop that back onto there, you can see that I want that red piece there so that it's got the frame, or the outer frame here. So doing it like that. So I think I'm going to trim it down a little bit because I don't want so much of a gap there. So just going to get my trimmer, and we will start from the outside piece. So, oh, look at the glue. See, told you it didn't want to come out, and then it all wants to come out. Let me clear that up. What a mucky pup. Right, so we did have this piece. Let's see what it was, 14.3. So I'm going to take this one down an extra 5 centimeters. So that now will be 13.8. Just wanted to make sure that that's going to look right. And it was 20.5. So this one's going to be 20. And then I can take my next size down. So we have this one, 13.3 and 19.5. So that just gives us an extra centimetre. That should look better. So that one now should hopefully get these to sit together. That's better. Needed them to be closer together. Well, it's a Valentine's card, so we need it to be closer together, don't we? So, got all that in place. Now my sentiment is going to go along here, and I'm going to cut myself out some hearts. So I'm going to use my heart punch. It's an old Stampin' Up one, which I think is a memory keepers. Can't remember now what they are, or Fiskars or something. I'm just going to cut myself out a couple of hearts from that, because we did say was making it into a sort of a Valentine's one, didn't we? So our hearts are going to go into the centre, and they are going to be lifted up onto a little bit of foam. So let's put a bit of foam on there. And when it comes to sort of like Valentine's cards, I think for a man, we like it to be romantic, but maybe we don't like it to be quite so florally and that type of thing. So, so that's why I'm going for that like that. So I'm just popping a bit of foam onto there, and then on one of them I'm going to take off the backing, and I'm going to put another piece of foam, so that one will be able to sit up even higher. Okay, so we're nearly ready to put that all together now. So we've got everything in place. We just need to do a bit of splatting first. So I'm just going to take my white piece of card and also a piece of blending mat on the other side. So what I just wanted to do with this is I just wanted to get myself some aged mahogany. Now it sounds a funny sort of a colour, but aged mahogany is sort of like this burgundy colour. And I have to admit, it's a very old ink, so there's not a lot of ink left in it. I think I need to get another one. I've popped that onto some clean blending mat in case I pick up any of these other colours. Adding a little bit of water to it. And then I'm just going to pick it up with my brush. And I think I'm going to have to add a fair bit more of this because that's not enough. So let's see if we can't. That's better. That's more like it. Add a bit of water to that. That's better. So that we've got some will actually fall off. And then I just want to put some little red splats over my card because I don't want all of this white space. I just want, I've just thought of something. It could look as if I've just killed him, couldn't it? With all this red. It could indeed. But anyway, I haven't, so all is well. So let's just take that out of the way. It just occurred to me that it looks as if I've just murdered someone, and what a good card it is for a Valentine's. Yeah, maybe not, eh? Well, if you don't think of it like that. Anyway, we're all right. We're all right. So just going to dry that off a bit because I want to stamp on there as well. So let's just, I mean, you wouldn't need to dry this off. You would be leaving it and it would all be wonderful. It just breaks up that surface. Okay, I'm going to turn it over because I don't want any of those rips to come off it, but I don't want it to warp. Well, not too much anyway. I'm just using ordinary cards, so if it was watercolour card, it would have dried in much quicker. It's just to give a sort of a less white surface, really. So there we go, that's better. Now just bend it slightly so that it doesn't warp too much, but I think I will put a bit of tape onto that. So let's pop the card together. So here's the card, which I've managed to drip a bit of blood on. Let's pop this one on. Whoops. Oh dear, I'm not having a lot of luck, am I? It either all wants to pour out or don't want to come out at all. So I'm going to pop that, put the lid on. That's going to go on as my base. Okay. Now, because I want this to stay absolutely flat and because I'm not going to be hanging around with it, she says, I'm going to see if I've got my tape, my double-sided tape, and I'm going to just pop double-sided tape on the back because I want it to lay flat. So I'm just going to put that to the surface there, to the edge. There's that one. And that one. So, whilst I'm just putting this down, I'm going to show you in a minute what we're going to be using for the workshops for February, because I'm going to launch that later on. The people that have already were in the January workshops and have told me that they want to be included are already included. So you need not worry about it. But there are a few places available if anyone would like to join me on that workshop. I'm going to be using some of these new Sue Wilson things. She had a new launch a couple of days ago, and I'm going to be using some of those over the next couple of shows. Well, you know what I mean. So it will be nice to see them. So I'm just going to check where my sentiment wants to go now. So I'm going to pop them into place, whoops, like that. And as I said, I'm going to pop our sentiment. Love you to the moon and back is going to go here. Just about there, I think. I want my hearts to go in there as well. So let's choose a colour ink. Hold on, I'm having a look what colour ink we want. Don't really want a black one. I don't really want. Let's have a go for a red one. Red berry. Let's go for that. Hopefully, it's not going to be too in your face. So I'm going to pop my card there. Pop my card into place. And although I'm not sticking these down yet because I don't want them to get in the way of the stamping, I do want them into position so that I know that where my stamp is going to be is about right, which I think, let's put it around that way, is about right for me. So get that straight, pick that up. And then, whoops, ink this up. I might need to do that twice because it's a brand new stamp and I haven't used it before, so they don't always stamp quite so well to start off with. So just want to do that one second time. They have like a coating over them, and so sometimes when you go to stamp with them for the first time, they're not quite so yummy as you'd like them to be, but they're yummy now. So love you to the moon and back. And let's just pop our diamonds in place, or our triangles that they are now. One at the top there, so that it is on the line of this white one, and then one down the bottom, so that the points almost meet, but they don't. Just getting that a straight line there as well. And then I'm going to just take my little hearts. So as we said, we've got one that's got one layer on and one that's got two. And I'm just going to put them sort of like that. So that one there, and then this one, which is a bit taller. Just going to overlap and pop that one just about there. So there you go. I was going to say that we don't want to make too much fuss, but we do like to still show that they're appreciated, don't we? But it's just a little something, really. Now, if you weren't going to do it for a Valentine's card, you could obviously do this for all sorts. So you can use up your scrap bit of paper. As you can see, we only needed a piece that was, well, if you did it that way, what's that? Sort of 4 inches by 4 inches. So really not very much at all. And then you can do it in any colour that you like. You could put some flowers in the centre here. That would look really nice, some flowers and some leaves. And then you could put any sentiment there. You could put happy birthday. So it just gives it a different way of doing your card. but with a very really simple way. Obviously, if I was to not have put dimension by putting the foam onto there, that could have been almost a flat card as well if you did want to send it. So there you go. There's today's quick card really for you, because I do want to show you a couple of other things. So that is today's Love You to the Moon and Back, which I think is rather a nice sentiment at the very least, with a lot of blood splattered all over it. No, not a lot of blood splattered. No, we can't say that, can we? It just occurred to me, that did, when I was actually doing it, that it looked as if I'd slit his throat. And I haven't, but I've been tempted. Right, okay, so let me just show you a quick sneak peek, I'll come back to that in a second, of some of the lovely stuff that we've got from Sue Wilson. So she's got a range called the Slimline range, and I'm going to be doing some of this at the weekend on the Sunday special. So we've got the ones that fit the DL cards. So we've got the plain and we've got the stitched, which has got an outer and an inner line, so that's quite pretty. Then we've got a stitched rectangle aperture trio, which is again quite nice. So you can see size of the die there. It's one die and it cuts out those 3 little windows, which obviously matches with all of these. And then we've got, amongst others, there are also these ones, which are the stitched oval apertures. So you've got similar sort of thing, but you've got 3 ovals like that. And then there are others. There are some lovely embossing folders, but for the people that are going to be doing the workshops, we've got these new concept ones. So these are called stamp cuts, and there are 4 different designs. And if you're going to be joining the workshop, you'll find out how to use them. And we will be making cards, and you will receive 1 in random of these stamp cuts. You will also receive 1 randomly of the new sentiments, which I've got a handful there, but you will receive 1 of those. And you will also receive in your pack a random choice, or a random selection, I should say. You will get 1 of the new slimline stencils to go with it. So there's a theme going on here, isn't it? Stencils, dies, stamps, all on that slimline sort of idea. So I'll just show you with the daisy one, this one, Daisy Blooms, this one is called. And so it's just 1 die, and you ink up your die. It's been coated with a special coating. You ink up your die, and then you pop that through your machine, and you just run that through, and it presses. There is a bit of texture to it, so it presses the ink into your die as well, giving it a really lovely effect. And then in this one, I've just inked it up a little bit as well. So that's what we would be doing on the workshops, and the workshops which have places in them are the 20th of February and the 27th of February. But as I said to the people that normally come to my workshops, your places, if you have said that you would like to come to them, have already been allotted. So don't panic that you need to go and rebook your place, because you certainly don't. But I will be putting it on the website later for anyone that would like to join us. So as I said, on those workshops, you will get 1 of the stamp cuts, 1 of the sentiments, and 1 of the stencils, as well as all the other bits and pieces that you need in order to make the projects. So that's for February, and here we are still in January. Goodness me. But I thought I would show you that. Now, I do have all of the workshop stuff in stock, but already I have noticed that the suppliers are out of stock of most of the stencils, most of the all of these. They haven't got any of these left at the moment. I'm sure they will have, and they haven't got any of what I'd call your everyday sentiments. They've got sentiments still available that says sweet wishes, but I'm afraid to say that's not something that I personally would put on a card. But however, so the lovely slimline collection dies that we're showing you just now, I will have them or something like that on my Sunday special. I'm going to be doing a really lovely card. It's actually, the one I'm doing is actually not here, but I will have all of those available to order on Sunday. So going back, let's go back to our lovely card. Let's start a bit of love. Let's start loving you to the moon and back. As I said, a quick Valentine's card, really, but I would say more of a masculine one. It doesn't need to be all flouncy pouncy, but there you go. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And as I said, thank you very much for joining me on a different time, because as you recall, I had to take my dad to the hospital and he got on really well, apart from the fact that now he's got a swollen face with toothache. So the staff have just been allotted to go and take him to an emergency appointment and try and get that sorted. There we go. So a little bit different for you, yeah. Whatever, just a little bit different. So I personally, thinking about colours, sorry, I just noticed that someone said, with the colours, I do like to use a more of a muted red. So again, I don't know if it's going to show, but if I show you some of the other reds, wait a minute, I'll show you one of the brighter reds. I don't like that. So you probably won't be able to see it. Can you? Yeah, can you see that that's different? So that I would have said is more like an orangey red, and that one is much more like a burgundy red, which I prefer for this sort of thing. But obviously, you do whatever you like. But that's why I've chosen that colour, because I think that's just a little bit too much for me. Just for me. You use whatever you like. And yeah, it would make a lovely wedding card, actually. And you've got various different sentiments and bits and pieces in there as well. So yeah. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you can join me on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock with the Sunday special. So you more or less know what we're looking at. We're looking at some of the new slimline dies, and I've got a really versatile one to show you on Sunday morning. So I hope you can join me then. Hope you all have a lovely day. I hope the sun's shining on you. I'm sending it all your way if I possibly can. Okay, take care, everyone. Thank you very much. Bye.